divided. Enough of the information being only one-sided. Enough is enough. It's time to get tough. Crush the extremes and release our love. Call out the crap, make a new map, turn things around, find middle ground, wake the world up, 'cause enough is enough. Enough of shaming for speaking out, enough of the fear for promoting doubt, enough of the lockdowns, masks and the threats, the sick cancel culture and inflated deaths. Enough of disruption, mandates on the way, enough of the greed in the same old play. Enough of the warring, making us slaves. Let's raise the new earth and catch the big wave. Enough is enough. It's time to get tough, crush the extremes, and release our love. Call out the crap, make a new map, turn things around, find middle ground, wake the world up, 'cause enough is enough, and enough is enough. The people first can heal this hurt. With healthy debate, tolerance works. Acceptance, harmony connects us as friends. Learning to respect is how this ends. I'm finished with nonsense. It's time to wake up and give it my best and know I'm enough. My virtues and values, my parental decisions, my intelligent mind is enough. My self-worth and opinions, my courage and relationships, my integrity and honor is enough. My ability to discuss my beliefs and opinions, my sense of all sides is enough. My body, my blood, my informed consent, my content of character is also enough. My love is enough, and so is my voice, my right to say no, my empowered choice. It's time to step out with goodwill and graces, connect with the people, and embrace all their faces. Our hearts are enough when we band together. Sharing our visions, we do it better. We have what it takes. Let's all toughen up, for this is our world, and we've had enough. Enough is enough. Enough. I am enough, and so are you.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 0.
Συντονιστείτε με τις μακροκοσμικές προκλήσεις. Μια ατμοσφαιρική εκπομπή που ανοίγει τους ορίζοντες στον εναλλακτικό πεδίο. Που ενημερώνει, αφυπνίζει και προκαλεί τη συνειδητότητα. Κάθε τρίτη βράδυ, 9 με 11, κοντά σας με τον Loukas Dourtourekas μέσω των Beautiful Minds. Εκεί που η καθημερινή πραγματικότητα συναντά τη μακροκοσμική αλήθεια. Εκεί που ο νους χαλαρώνει, με εκλεκτούς καλεσμένους και με on-the-air πρακτικές εφαρμογές. Hello to everybody. This is Loukas Dourtourekas speaking, and tonight we have you are on the show. You are on this show called Makrokosmikes Proklisis. It has a Greek title, and with us tonight we have Anna-Josephine, who is coordinator of the Calgary Freedom Fighters, and also we have near us Michael Kahl, who is a biologist, molecular cell biologist from Australia. Anna-Josephine, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you on the show, and thank you for accepting the invitation. How is Calgary?
Calgary is interesting. So we're actually Calgary Freedom Guardians. I took over in May
So you are the coordinator
of
of the
this
Freedom
year.
Guardians, and you took over in May this year.
Yes.
Can you tell me what made you take the decision in order to start this Calgary Freedom Guardian movement?
Well, we had another man who was doing it for doing the rallies for about 2 years or a year and a half, and he needed to step down. And so I came in to make sure that that the movement would keep moving on, that it would keep being strong, and no infiltrators would ruin it for us.
So you took over, and but what made even that person who was first coordinating it? What made him decide? What was the need for making this movement?
So right from the beginning, he was getting ticketed just for being in public with more than 10 people. One of the first bylaws that came out was that you couldn't have a gathering inside of more than just your family members. And it was wrong. Isolation is wrong.
So everything happened during the pandemic. This is the reason it began with the pandemic and with these bylaws that started coming out?
Yes.
And everybody felt, I think, that it was a little bit inhuman. The treatment was inhuman, or the laws were inhuman.
In Canada, we have lost way more people to suicide over the bylaws, the isolation, than to any pandemic.
Was the Canadian government aware of the fact that there were many more suicides, many more deaths because of suicide?
Absolutely. There's been a lot of court cases with upper government and health officials going through, hiding their documents, trying to pass the blame onto someone else. They absolutely know the truth.
So, despite it didn't hinder the government from continuing taking these bylaws. I think that more of them came out later on. Isn't that the case?
Yes, the government gave themselves a lot of bonuses, and their health officials and their fake news officials bonuses just to keep the lie going.
I assume that the media actually took a heavy bonus for actually supporting what the government was saying.
Yes, each individual employee was given at least $13,000 in bonuses last year from CBC.
Each individual from the
main
CDC.
broadcasting that gets our taxpayer dollars.
Mm-hmm. So the money was taken from the taxpayers. Taxpayers' money were given to these people in order to keep supporting what the government was saying, even to the detriment of the people who were actually committing suicides because of these bylaws.
Yes, absolutely.
For this reason, this movement began. Were other things happening later on that strengthened you and your supporters and everybody who takes part in these rallies that you're doing in order to continue what you were doing?
So they are pretending that all of the lockdowns and bylaws are down, but at the same time, we're losing our food. Our shelves are starting to dwindle. Our taxes are being raised. The government is using the computers to add extra dollars to what doesn't exist, so destroying our economy.
Despite the ending of the pandemic in the form that it was in the past, are these bylaws still existing in Canada? And even if they are existing, have any new ones come out that have made the situation worse?
The bylaws are changing. They're putting up different bylaws to make it that we can't stand up for our own freedoms within Canada. There's a lot of in the background detail that's happening that way. We have some political prisoners here in Canada just because they've been standing up for the truth.
So, do you have the sense that, despite all those bylaws that have been issued, which I suspect they were issued mainly for protecting the people from this virus, do you have the sense that there is a general loss of freedom, and that there are laws that are coming out that are actually, in a way, based on the bylaw practice, the laws that continue to limit the freedom of Canadian people?
I don't believe any of the bylaws that came out were about the pandemic. I believe that every single bylaw that they created for the pandemic was to bring tyranny into Canada, to control the people and make them submissive to the dictatorship that's starting to arise, or has arrived.
You know, Anna, I have been speaking with many doctors here, and the general consensus is that there was never a practice, an application actually, of the 21st century medicine. That many doctors have the sense, and they believe actually, that we suddenly, it's like we time traveled and went back to the age of paracelsus, and that the medicine that we should have applied was never applied, and that the laws that were coming out were like tyrannical laws.
Absolutely. I agree with your doctors 100% on that. Even the vaccines that they've brought out they came out, Pfizer came out with a statement that they would never actually help, something like that. They would never actually help the COVID virus. It was more about bringing down people's immunity. Some of these globalists were very, very directly trying to kill 50% of the world population, at least.
That's actually a heavy statement, right, Anna, to say that they're do you have this sense that their main objective was to harm humanity?
It was stated in a few of their World Economic Forums. I can't remember who said it. I wish I had the paperwork right in front of me.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I remember being said in the World Economic Forum, and by many of the members who were invited to speak as part of this forum, and even their invitees were actually admitting that there are too many people in the world. I mean, I actually remember even the author Harari, Yuval Harari, saying it in many, many interviews that he has given.
Yes.
The thing is that I remember the president of Canada, when he came out, I mean, he was very lovable. He was very appealing to people. I think that is the reason why he was elected. But it seems that at some point he lost the connection with people, right? And that suddenly there was a lot of, I don't know if it was a majority, but suddenly the Canadians were, it seemed to me, reading the news on the internet, that they were turning against him.
Personally, I don't think he was ever interested. I would have never have voted for him. But I had a few people tell me that he was charismatic and pretty enough. We are having a problem lately with these voting machines that clearly cheat. They started out in the States, but they've been at the last few elections here in Canada on a provincial level.
Mm-hmm. And there were also cases of clerical voting.
Sorry?
There were also cases of clerical voting, that like the ones happening in the States.
Yes, yeah.
So there are actually people who have been voicing that there seems to be some irregularities concerning the elections.
Very much so, yes. I don't know how to elaborate on that. It's just so obvious to those that have voted when it comes back, people having voted for people that they didn't vote for, or voting when they hadn't voted, and things like that.
Double votes and things like that, right?
Yes.
Did also people who were dead voted as well? Because this is a situation that has been arising.
Dead people voting?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All the world was actually moved by the truckers, the Canadian truckers. They're in everyone's memory. What do you know? What instigated their reactions? Why did they go on the streets and do that march that they did? And I remember them holding hands. So many people holding hands. I don't know how many kilometers they were holding hands.
There was such a fire ignited across Canada right before the truckers started to gather for their trucker convoy. Calgary's numbers, and I wasn't the one who was emceeing at the time, Calgary's numbers going to the rallies had jumped to 30,000 every Saturday, and the people were just inflamed with this desire to go and make a difference. And the truckers and farmers in general would be the ones to save the world. They're the ones who bring the food. They're the ones who are attacked with all the tyranny from day one.
That's a huge number. 30,000 people coming out the streets every Saturday.
Yes, it was amazing.
So the general consensus was that something was wrong in Canada. Something wasn't going right. And how did Trudeau get this message? I mean, did he receive the message? Because I remember reading that he was actually quite concerned about the truckers movement.
He ran and hid.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
He wouldn't show his face. He hid.
And nobody would expect actually from a leader of a country to hide. I mean, hiding shows a lot for the personality of that person.
It definitely shows that he knows he was in the wrong and that he was afraid to face up to it. The truckers were peaceful, they were loving, they were joyful. People from all over Canada brought them food just in case they didn't have enough, and they had such an abundance that they were sharing with the homeless and whoever came out to see them. And they just wanted to talk, and Justin Trudeau ran and hid.
Yeah, not addressing the public. I mean, in the cases of crisis, it's not actually the best way to go, is it?
No.
I was expecting them to reach Washington. At least that was what they had declared, that they would go to Washington. But suddenly the war in Ukraine started, and somehow this blew over.
Yeah, there was a few psyops trying to take it down. 4 of our political prisoners were set up at the truckers' convoy. Weapons were planted in their possession, and this whole story of killing people came out, but none of it was true, and there's enough evidence that it is not true, and yet they're still sitting in prison.
And how is the situation now in Canada? I mean, did Trudeau come out stronger, or are people still very reluctant in his presidency and very concerned about what is going to happen for the future of Canada?
People are tired. We know there's so many people, just about everyone in Canada knows that Justin Trudeau, not only does not belong in power, he belongs in jail. From all of his war crimes, he belongs in jail, and yet he's still walking around using our taxpayer dollars. He's using taxpayer money to fly in his private jet and go wherever he wants and hide from the people, and he should be hiding because he belongs behind bars. He does not belong in power at all.
If I could convey a message to the Canadian citizens, is that they were the ones that began inspiring the world. So I think that this is something that can boost their confidence and start again finding that energy in order to continue what they were doing, because they were inspiration for us all. And what is happening after that is that the people around the world are trying to connect to each other because of them.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. That's a powerful statement.
It's the truth.
Thank you. I wish that our first MC could have heard that, because he did so much for this. So much for this. Thank you.
So the Canadian people should not falter. They should not stop. They should continue doing what they were doing. I think that we all should be doing, because global events, because this was a global event, it was not only isolated in Canada, need global motivations. And
Yes.
and if Monica was the one that got inspired, Monica, the Monica Schmidt, who is the
Yes.
coordinator of the Reignite Freedom movement, she was inspired by them. But at the same time, I mean, coincidentally, there were many other people inspired by them, as was I, because at that moment when I saw them, I said, wow, I have to make shows with people speaking from other parts of the world.
I'm so glad you do. I'm so glad you do. This is wonderful.
So actually, I think that what happened in Canada with the Trekkies was like a singularity in the universe. That's how I have it in my mind. It was a singularity that sparked a lot of other motivations and movements around the world.
Yes. Yes, I agree. It's beautiful.
So the situation now in Canada, do you feel that there's an ongoing process of people losing their freedom more, even post-pandemic?
Because the pandemic didn't work completely the way that the tyrants wanted it to, now they're cutting the food shortage, or causing food shortages. They've put a cap on the fertilizer, so the crops won't survive, so the animals won't have things to eat. They want to get rid of the cattle and have people eating bugs instead.
Is it true, Anna, that despite this cap that they have put on the fertilizers, is it true that there are so many laws concerning farming that actually a farmer feels that it's not worth continuing doing this profession?
They're trying to make it that way. Since the pandemic started, there's been a lot more stress on the farmers, for sure. The farmers themselves are finding ways around the different issues that are being presented with them. For instance, with the cap on fertilizer, they'll just use cow manure and things like that instead of buying it.
There are some instances of the voice being cut due to the connection, because there are many people who are entering. There are many people who continue entering, and there are many people listening to us right now, Anna.
Okay.
So, how are the Calgary movements going? Is it going well?
They're surviving. There's a lot of different ideas of where it should go. There's a lot of people, not just in Calgary, but right across the globe, who have been fighting for so long and not seeing the results that they particularly want. And so they're turning in on each other. Something huge that we all as freedom people have to get over and remember what the true issues are, who we're actually fighting against, what we're actually fighting for.
Yeah, it is true that they're trying to sow, in a way, dissent and discord and divide people. That is a tactic that they actually use. And I don't think that the Canadian people, who are so inspiring and bright, that they should fall for this.
I hope they don't. In the last few weeks here, I have been served notice of liabilities, told publicly that I'm a liar, even though I am extremely firm on the statement that you, not just the statement, the belief that you can't lie or make videos that are lies. It's not going to help the cause. Being truthful is the only thing that's going to help the cause. There's too many lies out there. And now there's a committee that wants to come in and pretty much put puppet strings on me, so I either do what they want me to or let someone else do it.
So you mean that a committee has actually approached you and asked you to do this thing?
Individual people, not a committee. They want to build a committee and have me be a marionette for them.
People can see, though, that there are many videos and many audio files that are coming out and that they are not fake, and that they should also keep in mind that the government had tried to, in a way, I don't know if the word muzzle is the correct word, but they were trying to stop people from voicing their opinions, from connecting with each other, and from actually surfacing the truth.
Absolutely. They are very intelligent. People in general, we're very intelligent. And that's the one big thing, two big things I want to, if any message gets across to anyone worldwide, is you don't lie, you think for yourself, and you follow your conscience. You know, nobody should be a leader over you. You follow your conscience and think for yourself. Don't lie.
If there is a message for you to say tonight, Anna, what would it be for the world or for people listening to us?
Love your neighbor as you would love yourself. Don't lie. Follow your conscience and think for yourself.
Anna, thank you for being here on the show. I think that I will ask for you to be again. I will invite you again at some point in the future. I think that we should keep contact. And thank you very much again.
I would love that very much, Loukas. Thank you so much.
Για όσους μας ακούτε, I'm going to say that for anybody who's listening, that there is an email that you can send your questions to. It's called Makrokosmikes, as you hear it, with a K, Makrokosmikes, @gmail.com, where we can send the questions to Anna later on, or if there are questions for Michael Call, who is going to be the next who is going to speak to us, then for him. Anna, thank you very much again, and I wish you all the best. I wish you strength, and do not falter us also. I mean, the Canadian people should get the message that of what they did, and this should inspire them now in return as a rebound effect in order for them to keep going.
Thank you so much.
It's going to be a musical interlude, and then we'll be back in about 5-10 minutes. Stay tuned.
Once half 2 years have gone now, but I can't relate to the never-ending games that you play. As desire passes through, then you're open to the truth. I hope you understand, and your love is standing next to me. It's standing next to me. The one you fell for makes it seem juvenile, and you laugh at yourself again and again, and you'll drink to the thoughts she'll remember you maybe tomorrow, and your love is standing next to me, is standing next to me, and your love is standing next to me, is standing next to me, is standing next to me, is standing next to me. Once after 2 years have gone now, but I can't relate to the never-ending games that you play. As desire passes through, then you're open to the truth. I hope you understand, and your love is standing next to me, is standing next to me, is standing next to me, is standing next to me.